Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah, once more in front of Minfilia, where we continue after joining our grand company and meeting Biggs and Wedge. Self-management.
Now, having set aside the formalities, we have a favor to ask of you. Urianger, have the documents arrived from the students of Baldessian?
Aye, my lady. They arrived but recently.
We have conducted a study at the behest of the Order of the Twin Adder. Papalimo, Ida, a synopsis if you would.
Our task was to survey the behavior of the Sylphs, a beast tribe indigenous to the Twelveswood.
Oh, how to describe them. They look like gisselcreens, floating ones, that worship the primal Ramuh.
Ida, that sounds very weird. Flying cabbages that worship a thunder god.
Though technically a beast tribe, Sylphs are blessed with a comparatively personable demeanor, conducive to peaceful communication.
Offering us an invaluable opportunity to learn what the beast tribes know of the primals.
While Ramuh's existence is well documented, the Sylphs do not, or perhaps cannot, summon the primal any longer, insofar as can be ascertained, until such time as we know. It would be unwise to assume that the threat posed by the primal has passed.
Which leaves Gridania with the added worry of not knowing what they should be worrying about.
In that regard, they are hardly alone. What we can say with absolute certainty is that Gridania has its hands full fending off Garuda, who, I need hardly remind you, is among the most savage and terrible of all known primals.
In short, it is essential that we approach the Sylphs in as diplomatic a manner as possible. Words and actions can be misconstrued. The only sure way to communicate our intentions is the echo.
How exactly? The echo shows me visions, but it makes me understand their language, but it doesn't help me show them my intentions, or am I not seeing something?
Winning the Sylphs' favor may well bring us a step closer to mitigating the threat of the primals. Will you help us?
Well, yeah.
I am grateful.
Lovely. Well, as much as I'd like to help, I'm afraid I would be of little use to anyone in Gridania. A veritable babe in the woods. Ida and Papalimo, however, should be able to see the forest for the trees. Is that not so, Minfilia?
Indeed. You are willing?
Leave it to me.
Us, Ida, us!
Okay, then off to Gridania. To unlock the dungeon eventually. We know far too little of the Sylphs to lay any worthwhile plans. We must call upon the science once more if we are to... beg pardons. It is a terrible habit of mine to think aloud, but tell me, what brings you to the Adder's Nest? Hail, adventurer, I bid you welcome to the Adder's Nest. Do you seek to entwine your destiny with the twin adders? Morning, Commander. Sorry to disappoint you, but other business brings us here today. Ida and Papalimu, always a pleasure to see the two of you. My men tell me you quest in the name of the Scions of late. Quite so, Commander. A little bird told us that the twin adder was in need of our adventuring prowess. Aye, your little bird sings true. No doubt you've heard that we're investigating the Sylphs? That curious beast tribe that calls the depths of the 12th home? The Sylphs are, for the most part, a peaceable bunch, much to the delight of the elder Seetsier, who has no desire to see her people embroiled in yet another fruitless war. The twin adder is of the same mind, and it's precisely for this reason that the Sylphs' relations to the primal Ramuh has raised a flag of warning amongst our ranks. Friendly as they may appear, beastmen will be beastmen. Should there be even a sliver of a chance that the summoning of a primal might disturb the balance between Gridania and the Sylphic tribes, it's a possibility we cannot ignore. Better to be safe than sorry, indeed. Do we strike at Ramuh or leave the Sylphs to their own ways? That is the question, yet I find myself lacking ample knowledge to arrive at an answer. Opinions abound within Gridania, but to listen only to one's own is among the greatest mistakes a commander can make. I would hear from the other side, the Sylphs themselves, and seek an impartial party to serve as my liaison. That is where your Scions come in. The Sylphs of the Little Solace remain untempered and have held many a productive dialogue with our people. I would hear their candid thoughts and their tempered brethren. That said, I urge you to exercise due caution. Sylphic tradition and etiquette bear little resemblance to our own. It would not do to have any cross-cultural faux pas get in the way of a productive parley. En route to Little Solace, you will come upon the Hawthorn Hut. Our officers stationed there can enlighten you as to how to win the Sylphs' favor. May your expedition be a worthwhile one. A friendly palaver with the Sylphs. This should be pleasant enough diversion. The Hawthorn Hut, was it? Why, I believe a ferry departing from West Shore Pier should take us straight there. A friendly palaver indeed. I hope this will be as straightforward as you say, Papalimo. And the pier is right by the Lancers Guild. Aye, the ferry docked at the base of this hill will carry you across the lake to the east route. Once you're ashore, head due east and you should find the Hawthorn Hut without much trouble. Sweet Bloom Pier is where we want to go. Lavender Beds is the housing district of Gridania. Now, since I've just edited the pre-5.3 episode for this, originally you had to first go here to the Full Flower Comp to speak with Rosa Hawthorn, the wife of a man we're going to. Well, yeah, the woman of the Hawthorns, who then sends her to her husband. Then you do a bit of quest, come back to her before coming back to him, and then finally go to the Sylphs. That first step was so far skipped, which is good. Indeed, I'm Elaine of the Twin Adder. I understand you're here to learn of the Sylphs, yes? For all their whimsy, they are very lot, particularly since the Empire has come to the Shroud. Earn their trust, however, and they're as friendly as any folk. They have their quirks, but so do we all, no? Would you know more, you'd do well to speak with a master of his hut. Wolfie. He's forgotten more about the Sylphs than I'll ever know. Yeah, and originally you first went to Wolfie's wife. Come to learn a thing or two about the Sylphs, have you? Tell you one thing, they're peculiar folk. How peculiar, you ask? Well, let me tell you. Beg pardon, friend. My memory is not what it used to be. I've seen much and more in my adventuring days, and it's all a clutter in my noggin now. Though I've shared my stories with those around the hut before. You might have more luck with them. The daughter? The Sylphs? Yes, father's told me his stories plenty of times. What I've always found most captivating is how their concept of etiquette is almost completely alien to our own. You do best not to underestimate them on account of their childlike looks, lest your face ends up a mess of glyphs, squiggles, and chocobo scratches. And the quickest way to a quiver woman's heart might be through her stomach, but don't even think about trying to force your footstep on a Sylph. They sustain themselves simply by bathing in the sun, or so Wolfie once told me. The Sylphs? Inveterate tricksters and troublemakers, that's what they are. One day they're drawing marble faces in our mask, the next they're sending our young sentries falling to the bottom of a ravine. Tell them to stop and they'll just laugh at you. Wolfie claims they harbor no ill will, but I dare say such pranks are no laughing matter. Of course. Hearing your stories, well, my stories, has brought the memories flooding back to me. I feel like dancing. Yes, nothing brings people together quite like a little toe tapping. A Sylph told me long ago that dancing is a time-honored greeting among their kind. You do well to remember this. It just may help win the favor of our forest friends. Anything else? Oh, still here? Great. There's one more thing you should know about the Sylphs. They don't take kindly to guests who show up empty-handed. To earn their trust, you do well to bring along what was it again? My wife Rosa and I were just speaking of the matter not days ago. Forgive me, friend. Speak to Rosa at the comp. Her memory should prove more reliable than my own. Okay, so we still have to go to her now. But this is not a return. Well, at least that. One quest cut from here at least. A peace offering for the Sylphs. We had anyone else that recommend a jar of honey, but I fear that wouldn't get you past their front doorstep, dear. No, that tastes one more to the unusual. Are you perchance familiar with milkroot? That's what we call the root of a most fiendish seedkin, the ochu. When chewed, it exudes a cloudy liquid that's said to induce curious visions in the imbiber. You'd not catch me dead trying the stuff, but the Sylphs seem to enjoy it to no end. I have not seen an Oshu around the comp in quite some time, but I did encounter a suspicious clump of grass the other day. Ready to stimulate it somehow, with some of this ember syrup for example, you might be surprised at what comes out. Good luck. With branches of threshing, the vegetation springs to life. Ah, you're back. Was my wife able to direct you to a suitable offering? Milkwood, but of course, both Sylphs quaff that cloudy stuff as quickly as I do a flagon of meat. The effect's just about the same as well. Anyway, a gift of Milkwood will have the Sylphs calling you friend or brother the moment they lay eyes on it. Now, let me wrap that up for you. I'm starting to feel a little woozy. I've taken the liberty of wrapping your Milkwood well and good. This should keep it nice and fresh, not to mention spare you from that god-awful stench. The Sylphs love this stuff, but me? I'd rather bury my nose in chocobo dung. I guess they were weak even whilst the breath of a marble that put an end to my adventuring days. But I can tell you that story another time. You've more important matters to attend to, yes? The Sylphs are an eccentric bunch, but I've shared their company enough to know they're kind at heart. They're not shun one whose intentions are true. May your parley be a fruitful one, friend. And do stop by on your return. There's a flagon of full flour meat with your name on it, if you regale me with your adventuring tales. Before I forget, don't go tripsing off just yet. Emmeline here would have a word with you. Safe travel in safety, friend, and do pass along my regards to the winged ones. Good to see your knowledge of silviculture has matured. I see no reason to delay your mission any further. Upon your arrival at Little Solek, seek out a young sylph by the name of Comaxio. He has served as an intermediary between our peoples on many an occasion, and has the close ear of his tribe's elder. I see that Hawthorne has furnished you with some of that malodorous root the sylphs so adore. I have something of far greater import for you to deliver. A missive from the elder Seatsia herself. To summarize the letter's content in brief, it vouches for the integrity of our envoy, that would be you, and restates Gridania's desire to maintain a harmonious relationship with our long-standing friends of the forest. The war with the XIV has taken a toll on our resources. We can ill afford to get mired in another conflict. I need not impress upon you any further the importance of this mission. May the 12 see you return with good tidings. Walking One is not familiar to this one. This one does not trust strange walking ones. Strange dancing ones might be a different story, but this one expects no such thing. Walking One should go home and leave this one be. Then let's dance. This one would welcome Walking One who moves like these ones. If Walking One would talk to this one will answer. This one is busy one, so Walking One should speak with quick tongue. Walking One would bring gift to this one. Walking One is most kind. Walking One brings Milkwood. Milkwood fills this one with great joy. This one gives thanks. Gives many, many thanks. Walking One carries message for Elder One. This one will deliver the message to Elder One. Walking One should not worry. Hello there, we are envoys from Gridania and we're here to treat with your people. Aye, we come to pay our respects to your elder and to learn from him more of your Lord Ramuh. Well, these ones. These Walking Ones come from Gridania? Walking One became a dancing one and brought Milkwood, but Walking One tricks this one. This one does not like tricks. This one will speak no more. Elder one is busy. Walking ones should go home. Go home, you say? But the Sylphs of Little Solas have always welcomed Gridanian envoys with open wings. The letter carried by Realty is an oath of peace penned by the Elder Seatsia herself. Still you would refuse us? This one's reasons are no business of Walking Ones. Elder One has no words for Gridania. Walking Ones waste everyone's time. Well, I never turned away at the gates. Whatever did we do to deserve such a rude welcome? Was Real Jig insufficiently jiggy? I'm as baffled as you, but something tells me recent events have our erstwhile fluttery friends feeling uncommonly wary. It would seem we have no choice but to ask around and see how we might earn their trust. Alright. By virtue of a crystal trade, the Sylphs have maintained friendly terms with most every race in Eorzea. Alas, the appearance of Ramuh has been a storm cloud over relations. If peace is to be secured, we must reopen a dialogue with the Sylphs before they have a chance to summon their god again. Say, Wilt, are you in the mood for dancing? That's right, dancing! You went through all the trouble to learn the Sylphs' traditional greeting, but you've greeted hardly any of them. Why, if I were a Sylph, I'd be beside myself with delight to see an adventurer expressing an interest in my culture. Me? Of course, I'd be happy to join. There go those bloody leg cramps of mine acting up again. Walking around knows Jolly Dance. Jolly Dance fills this one with good cheer. Let these two be friends. Walking One would be friend of these ones? This one is overjoyed, but this one keeps the ways of weaving a secret. Even if Walking One learned the secret, Walking One could not weave in the same way. Walking One is a friend of these ones. Friendly like gracious Elder One of Forest City. Knows how to dance into these ones' hearts. Well, would you like to hear the good news or the better news? The good news is that your lovely dancing has brought smiles and high spirits to all of Little Solas. The better news? Why, I'm thoroughly recovered from those accursed leg cramps. Onward to a new adventure. Well, as an adventurer, you're no stranger to helping distressed folk, I'd wager. Tales of good deeds are quick to spread. The adventurer who comes to the aid of a local populace can go from stranger to hero overnight. No doubt you see what I'm getting at. The Sylphs make their home in Little Solas, do so having been driven from their woodland home. Surely they have a fair share of troubles. Seek out troubled Sylphs and see what might be done to ease their worries. Sound planned, would you not say? That said, the Sylphs are not known to share their worries with outsiders. It would be better to off inquiring with Hera Imedia. Of the Gridanians who reside here, she is most likely to be privy of the Sylphs' troubles. Praise be to the elementals. I cannot express how happy I am to see an adventurer with a truly gentle heart. The Sylphs of Little Solas are sorely in need of aid. Pray hear me out. Being a temporary settlement, Little Solas once for amenity is not least a stout set of defenses. Consequently, the beasts from realms around are free to wander in and terrorize the hapless residents. With these goblins and gallnuts that roam these parts are especially troublesome, but slaying one of each should serve as a warning to the rest. Furthermore, perhaps you could gather 3 brownie brushes as well? They play an important role in Sylphic culture. I do not claim to know the details, and with what such feral beasts prowling the forest, they're not easily come by. When you're done with the deeds, seek out Comaxio. He is slow to warm to outsiders, but your good intentions will not be lost on him. My own experience speaks to this. Okay, I remember I needed more dances than the 3 here. I believe it was a total of 5 or something, and here it was 3, 5 goblins and gallnuts. Numbers, right? So the quest has been shortened as well, if only slightly. And last episode I mentioned the Gallian fortress in the 12th Wood here in the East Shroud. That is over there beyond the edge of the map. Dancing One is still here? Dancing One can dance all day. This one's trust is not so easily earned. Here, take some brushes. Dancing One brings brownie brushes for this one? This one can dive threat once more. This one is pleased. Dancing One kills bitey buzzy ones? This one hates bitey buzzy ones. Dancing One is kind. Too kind. Walking ones come to these one's abode, but few are friendly like Dancing One. Perhaps this one was wrong not to trust Dancing One after all. Yeah. And this is where I end the episode, after Comaxio decides to trust us after all. Maybe. Until next time then, when we see if Comaxio finally helps us. Speak to the Elder. Until then, I'm Mace, and don't get lost.